Here we go. Look at how high tech we are. All right, there we go. All right. Well, I'd like to welcome you all here to the presentation of HIPAA compliance. What you need to know. This is the October 26th Advantage Lunch, and we got myself, Joe Justice, and Chris Burdett here. Let's take a look at our presenters. Of course, those of you that are actually here know who I am and know who Chris is. This is Chris right here. Raise your hand, Chris. There we go.
How's it going?
I'm Joe Justice. I'm kind of the Advantage Technology Ambassador, and I'll be talking with you today and helping Chris to talk with you. Chris is a certified information system security professional. That basically means that he knows his stuff when it comes to security. That's kind of a fancy way of putting it. And Chris is going to be here to help us walk through all of the issues with HIPAA compliance as it relates to data security. All right, so let's jump right in. So what are we going to look at today? Today we're going to take a look at understanding, most importantly, understanding cybercrime in general. We're going to do an overview of HIPAA to kind of give everybody kind of a brief understanding of what is involved in HIPAA and why it matters to you. And then we're going to talk about what happens when cybercrime meets HIPAA compliance. And that's really what we're going to be talking about. That's really going to be the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about today. And then what you can do to protect yourself when it comes to protect yourself, your business, your customers, when it comes to cybercrime and HIPAA compliance. So first of all, I wanted to tell you guys that you may or may not have already been aware of this, but October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. That's actually a government-sponsored thing. All government agencies are taking cybercrime and security very seriously. From the Army to the Navy, Homeland Security, they're all using the hashtag CyberAware. If you Google CyberAware when you get back to your offices, or right now if you're on the webinar, you'll see that this has been a big push that they've been doing to try to get people aware of cybercrime. Cybercrime's been in the news a lot lately, and it's really important that people understand just what kind of threats are out there. So I want to take a look back a couple years worth to kind of take a look at some of the big kind of data breaches that have happened in America over the past few years, and kind of get an overview of where we're at with cybercrime. Let's talk about, first of all, a really popular one that's been in the news. This is the data breach in 2013 of Target. Now what happened was some hackers compromised a third-party contractor. It was an HVAC contractor, and they acquired Target's network credentials via that third-party contractor. This affected 110 million customers, and in 2015, Target reached a class action settlement with the customers for $10 million. By 2016, Target settled with affected banks and credit unions for $39 million. So when you think about data breaches like this, these are real costs. This is real money that it's costing people if they have massive database breaches and data breaches. Anything you want to add to that, Chris?
No, you pretty much covered it on the target.
Well, then let's talk about Sony Pictures. Back in 2014, hackers, believed to be foreign nationals, probably North Korea, but nobody knows for sure. They hacked into Sony's network and got everything, literally everything. They released a bunch of movies that were already made online. They published things that were supposed to be, insider secrets, and probably the biggest of all, they released a bunch of emails. What everyone that wrote those emails thought were private emails, and they were released, and you could just imagine, I think we've all got emails that we would not want the public to see. And as a matter of fact, it was so bad that the Sony co-chair, Amy Pascal, she actually had to step down because of this in 2015. And the main reason wasn't even that she did anything illegal or anything. It was just, she might have had some trite words for actors, or she might have described people, other directors or things like that in a certain way, and all of a sudden that all your dirty laundry gets aired out, and then people don't want to work with you as much anymore. Chris, you got anything you'd like to add on the Sony hack?
Actually, the Sony hack was a pretty interesting hack. So it was actually breached from clear text administration of all the networking and server devices. So what they were able to do was just, kind of looked over and catch the administrative credential within the network, and then they just kind of exploited it from there.
And when you say clear text, you mean that their communications was not in any way encrypted from point A to point B?
Yeah.
So, and that's referred to as kind of a clear text pass through the networks. And one of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit later is data encryption, which would have solved some of those issues.
Yeah.
A lot of people still use clear text. A lot of people don't have a lot of people aren't even aware that all that traffic that you send out from your network, if it's not encrypted, anybody can read it. They don't even have to be connected to your network. They get connected to the larger network, which is the internet, and everyone's connected to the internet. So let's take a look at the VA. The Veterans Administration had a massive data breach in 2006, and this was really important for a lot of people, small, medium, and large businesses, obviously organizations like the VA. This was such an easily avoidable event, and the kind of thing that people don't think of as data breaches. That's really important to understand what happened here. What happened was a person took home a laptop and an external hard drive that contained 26.5 million people's personal health care information. So this hard drive with this laptop had 26.5 million individuals' records. Okay? The laptop was subsequently stolen along with the hard drive. Now, a few years later, the laptop and the hard drive were recovered because there was an award out for it. But this is the most important thing of all. The data was not encrypted, and it was not secured in any way. So what happened to that data between the time it was lost and the time it was found, nobody knows. And what you have to then assume at that point is that it was all stolen by somebody.
Yes.
Anything you want to add to that, Chris?
Yeah, whenever you lose a laptop and it's unencrypted, you don't need to have anybody's passwords or anything. You can just simply take the hard drive out and hook it up to another computer and just extract every bit of the data with no problem whatsoever.
And like I say, the Veterans Administration, obviously a large government entity, so this is why the government is doing the Cyber Aware campaign, and that's why they're trying to get the word out, because even internally they have these kinds of issues, and it's really important for everybody to understand that.